This is an explicit podcast. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 55 of the AgeofSigBrah podcast. I am Gary Hennessy and with me as always we have...
Andy Talbot.
Hello Andy, how are you?
Yeah, good mate, not too bad. Ready to talk some hobby.
Yeah, I mean not much has happened since we last recorded, so it's fine.
Hardly anything.
Yeah, really. So I'm going to do this while we remember. Sponsors.
Yes.
First up we've got elementgames.co.uk and we also have Mierce Miniatures, that's M-I-R-C-E...
Nope.
No?
M-I-E-R-C-E
Okay, there we go.
hyphen miniatures.
There we go. It's in the it'll be in the show notes, it's fine. .com.
There we go.
So, Andy, hobby.
Yes.
Have you been up to any?
I hate Saurus mold lines.
Oh, lovely.
Hate them. So, so with all of the cool AOS 2 stuff that's coming out, I've been re-looking at all the Seraphon that I've got in boxes.
Nice.
And I quite like the idea of doing quite a Saurus heavy list.
Cool.
I just quite like the way that they summon now.
Yeah, I mean...
The way that they summon is really, really cool. We're probably not going to go into the rules, but I would suggest listening to one of the most recent Facehammer podcasts.
Yeah, the last two have been really good. There might even be another one out by the time.
Yeah, potentially, exactly, yeah. So they've covered, main rules changes and the Malign Sorcery rules as well, so make sure you check them out for details on this. So I've been scraping the mold lines off of 60 Saurus.
Oh, lovely.
So, So they're old models.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mold lines on them.
Yeah, oh, lovely.
But yeah, nearly finished, got 4 left to do. So that's kind of me at the moment.
Sweet.
What about you?
I have been working a bit more on my Deepkin.
Cool.
I've almost got Volturnus done.
Yes.
He's a little bit longer on that, but...
on Kevin?
On Kevin, yeah, and Kevin's got much closer. I've been working on Lotan this week for the Tom Hewitt's battle roll paint battle.
Yep.
And
hashtag,
yeah. So hopefully I've got basically tomorrow left to finish him. So there's some hope there.
Yeah.
I've got some hope. I've got not much else to do tomorrow except lots of other things, but I can paint between drying stages.
Yeah.
Rather do stuff between drying stages.
Between drying
stages.
Yeah,
you cannot do that. But I've also been painting some of the Malign Sorcery.
Yes.
Endless spells.
Yeah, you've been posting up some paint recipes and stuff on our Twitter, haven't you?
Yeah. So they've been really fun to paint. So I've done the Gnashing Jaws and the Grave Wave.
Yeah, the Grave Wave.
And they're super fun to paint, and I built them all, and it's going to be really cool to have the time just to sit down and smash through them, because you can be obviously as detailed as you want with them.
Yep.
But I'm purposely trying to go as simple as possible. So if you find either our tweets or our Instagram post on them, I've basically put the recipe as another photo, and that's kind of the order as well.
Yes.
Which they were which it was painted in.
Yeah.
So they're a lot of nice comments on those, considering how quick they've been. But yeah, that's pretty cool. And
how are you thinking about basing them? That's a hot topic.
I've just based them grey, and now the rest of my armies will be based grey.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I like that. Using the Malign Sorcery stuff to make sure that you base all your armies the same.
Yeah, I've just sealed it in. It takes a decision away from me later on down the line. It's that's already decided. But it is interesting. It'd be cool to see if you could probably magnetize some of them.
Okay.
The bigger one, Purple Sun, kind of has a base bit it goes into, so you could probably magnetize that and pull it on, being able to swap it around them. But if you want to put the work in, you could probably do it. The other thing is I'm just going to get over it. I'm just,
that's it, isn't it? Yeah.
It is a bit annoying, but overall they're so cool that it's just a spell on the table. In the end of the day, if you're going down that far, it's why doesn't mine and my opponent's bases are the same?
You got a point.
It's you got
a point.
It's something I just decided to go, you know what, I'm not gonna focus on this too long. I'm just going to paint it grey.
Yeah.
And
why not?
That's it. It's all good.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I've started some of the Stormcast.
Yes.
From the box, and they've been really fun to do. Kind of done them like an off-bronze. One of them I followed Duncan's Minotaur Space Marine chapter tutorial, and the other one I'm following following Duncan's Sister of Silence tutorial, because both of them are like slightly different.
Yeah. The
bronzes.
Sister of Silence is kind of like purpley bronze, aren't they?
I think just as it is now, I'm leaning more towards that one.
Okay.
But it's basically what's steering me away is it's like an extra stage of painting. But I've started 2 of those, and I've kind of got a scheme locked in for the Night Haunt. It's the same way as I've done my boat.
Cool.
For the Gloomtide, and I basically half painted one of those in about 30 seconds. So I'm like, I think I'm going to do Night Haunt.
There we go. Love it.
It's like that's the polar opposite. Basically, it's one step lower than my Necros.
So, have you posted anything about your Gloomtide and stuff? Have people seen it?
Yeah, it's up and about. Yeah, it's super. It's just dry brushed Cabalite green, Cyberite green, and then Vallejo ivory.
Oh, right, okay.
Which is a colour that Byron from Element Games told me about a long time ago. So it's just really good to basically mix in to a lot of things as a highlight. So it's really, really good paint, and it's kind of my go-to if I just need something
a little bit lighter,
because it's not quite as set colour as, say, Screaming Skull.
Oh, okay.
It's got like a few other colours in there.
Right, okay.
So
interesting.
So yeah, it's we'll see how that goes.
Yeah,
so,
sweet. That's cool. Played any games?
We demoed a few games.
We did,
Bag of Holding for the pre-order day.
We did.
So that was a lot of fun, and it was kind of the changes are it really felt just more like an intuitive way to play. It didn't feel like AOS 2. It feels like AOS 1.5.
Definitely.
And I'm saying that in a very positive way.
Yeah, no. I agree,
it's not a different game. It's just there's some tweaks. There's some stuff there's a lot of things that did matter. Like Tom was firing his Dave Ballista at the Night of Shrouds.
Yeah.
But suddenly his 5s become 6s to hit him.
Yep.
And that's actually it's a massive difference.
Huge,
so little bits like that actually made like a big difference. And there was also a bit where there was a combat where one of the guys, Rich, that was using Night Haunts, I think it was his Knight of Torment, Lord of Torment, whatever they are, was basically between 2 bases of Tom's Stormcast.
Okay.
And he was touching both, but so it went like Stormcast him, Stormcast.
Yep.
So he piled in, and because you can now pile in, your piling is you just need to end as close as you did before. He kind of just Night Haunted through to the other side.
Okay.
Because he still ended
base to base
on both, and as close as they were before. It was just on the other side of them.
Yeah.
So it was, obviously Night Haunts can move through models.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting.
That was really
that was quite cool. Not 100% sure if it's a legal move yet, but it looked cool. I don't see what
we'll go with it.
He asked me, I was like, I can't see why it's not. But
no, I mean they fly. It's a move. So
exactly. It's a ghost.
Right?
Ghost goes through things. It's fine,
good, isn't it?
But yeah, I mean, that box set is incredible, isn't it?
It is awesome, yeah. And even myself and Tom, we also had a game later on in that same day, and we actually had Malign Sorcery just added to it. Oh,
amazing!
Like that.
Yeah, so, I've not played with Malign Sorcery yet.
Tom had the Pendulum, and I had the old Grave Wave.
Nice.
Had to be the first one that I used.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were really good. They were really just nice additions to the game. I have to be honest, like me and Tom didn't take it overly seriously. We were like, I tell you what, we just won't unbind these.
Yeah,
we want to see what they do.
Yeah, so we've made a decision.
They're really good.
Yeah, weird. But yeah, after listening to Facehammer's Malign Sorcery rules coverage, I'm not sure how happy I am.
I think you're going to see that mirror a lot, aren't you?
There's some mean combos out there. But let's see what happens.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
But it does look really fun.
It does, for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. So, basically what me and Andy decided to do was that, there's... I think every 4th video on YouTube at the moment is a Soul Wars unboxing video.
That is true.
So there's going to be a lot of people like talking about what you get in the box, and Warhammer community has already done an amazing job.
Yeah, a lot of other podcasts out there and stuff like that have done quite similar things.
Yeah, and like you've got Facehammer covering rules.
Yep.
So we thought we'd take the narrative direction.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's probably because the actual kind of narrative booklet is quite easily missed.
Yes, yeah.
So out of all, the shiny models and big core book
in that box.
Yeah, so it's quite easily missed. So we thought we would do the work and do that side of it. So
exactly,
kind of what Soul Wars is at the box is about.
The story behind the box.
Yeah, exactly, and kind of what leads you to playing it. So we thought we'd go for that.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, should we take a short break and then we'll come back and we'll start the battle for Glymmsforge?
Yeah, let's go for it. So, one of the components of Soul Wars is basically a booklet. Mm-hmm. Cool, I say booklet, it's reasonably detailed. Called The Battle of Glymmsforge.
Yes.
Now, inside, you get a handy little, because obviously it's designed for people that are just jumping onto AOS now, as well as people that have played it previously.
Yep.
So you've got a really cool little description about basically Nagash and why he's a bit of a dick.
Right, yeah.
But
or the saviour we need, depending on who you are.
Of course, but what I really like, and I think it's very clever writing for Nagash, is when you read it, I'm not sure if I'm going to explain this right, but if you just read take the words as they are, it sounds like Nagash is right. But when you actually read it, it's like, well, he's just being a massive dick.
Okay.
Just the fact that, he hates Sigmar for stealing all these souls when Sigmar said that he would have them.
Yep.
But this is all because Nagash turned his back on him before. But that's
betrayer.
Exactly. But that's not really focused on.
No, definitely
so
not.
I really
they see each other as betrayers. Much,
exactly. Yeah. So that's really interesting, and one good thing to shout out now if you are jumping in and listen to this is check out our Malign Portents episode.
Yes,
because a lot of what's in the beginning of this book is covered much more in detail on our Malign Portents episode.
Yeah, this is definitely launched straight off the back of that summer campaign.
Yeah, and it's interesting as well, because I wondered why the the Malign Portent stories continued after the campaign. And it's like, oh, it's for this.
I'll explain now.
That's why. That all makes sense. So it goes into kind of the description of Grave Sand, which we know is the realm stone of Shyish, and it goes into Shyish itself, that is made up of loads of underworlds.
Yep.
Loads of copies of Underworld.
Loads of old DVD copies of Underworld. It's like a blockbuster. Yeah,
it's like a teenager's bedroom. So you also have, it goes into talk about the Great Black Pyramid. So, Nagash's basic spell engine.
Yes,
kind of thing. There was a really good recent Malign Portents short, basically describing when he first starts it up.
Oh, okay.
And basically he's there starting the biggest Black Pyramid up to basically start the Necroquake.
Right.
And basically the 4 Chaos Gods appear in the room as well.
Oh, really?
But Nagash is so strong in this area that he can just keep them at bay while this is starting up. But it turns...
boss.
Yes, exactly. Shout this out as well. Spoilers, obviously, through this whole book. We're basically going into the narrative, so it's going to be a lot of spoilers.
Yes.
But, and basically there's a load of, Skaven in fucking up the pyramid, so that's why it doesn't quite go right.
Right, okay.
Because of that, so that was a really cool little story. It basically still works, but not quite in the way Nagash wanted it to.
Okay.
So it goes into a nice little bit there. And then it starts describing the Shyish Nadir, which is Nagash's new domain.
Right, okay.
Made, which
his own underworlds.
Yeah, kind of this. If everything went perfectly, this would basically be Shyish, is from what I'm getting. So it's basically a place where all souls and underworlds would be drawn into it. So it's kind of like a sinkhole that just drags all souls.
And
it also describes willing or not. So it just basically takes it, rather than him having to go out and collect.
Yeah.
Basically, but it's like when the police do those boat schemes. When they say, you've won a free boat, come here.
Come here, yeah.
It's the same thing.
Cool.
But what the Necroquake did do is it caused every corpse and cadaver to reconnect with the spirit that once inhabited it. And that was in any of the realms.
Oh, wow.
So it's, the Necroquake was a big thing.
Zombies everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And, so the side effect of chaos intervening was that you've got malign sorcery.
Right.
So it basically, because it's magic gone wild.
Yeah. This sounds like some kind of Nickelodeon program.
But so it basically makes them into living things. Yeah. So that's why we've got like the malign sorceries now. Yeah. So also, we're probably our next episode, we're going to go into the narrative behind that. As well. Yeah. So there's loads of really cool things in there. I'm going to spoil it here. My main favourite thing being that now there's spell bounty hunters.
Yes.
She's just the coolest thing ever.
Oh, it's like the thing that you said to me the other day was just kind of like, so think about the AOS roleplay that's coming out. I know which character I want to be.
I'm bagsing it right now. 21st of June, I'm going to be a spell bounty hunter in that. But so that's kind of up into, like, describes events.
Yep.
Up into the box. So then goes into description of Glymmsforge, which is a walled free city in Zycona Desert.
Oh,
let's go with that. In the underworld of Lyra.
Right.
So as we've learnt before, Shyish is made up of lots and lots of underworlds. Yep. Like there's not just one. So this is the underworld of Lyra. So and the city is built. It started small, and then it basically kept adding to it.
Right.
But it's built around the Shimmergate portal.
Ooh.
Which is a realm gate that goes straight to Higher-Azir.
Oh, really?
So it's very much seen as obviously a super important realm gate to hold.
Yes.
Because important, both ways for Sigmar to get into Shyish.
Yeah, and for to keep them out.
Yeah, exactly. And it's described as like a blur of light rather than like a physical portal.
Oh, right, okay.
So, and they basically have big spiral stairs that they've built to go up and down from it.
Okay.
Which is, I kind of see them a lot like the that Storm of Chaos bit of terrain. It was like the stairs.
The spiral, the circle spiral staircase.
Yeah, which is quite cool. So we've got the Anvils of Heldenhammer.
Yep.
So they took control of the Shimmergate from basically Shyish invaders.
Yep.
And since then, they've added time and time again to the walls, and this is kind of like a real everyone's in to help. So you've got humans, elves, and Dwarden.
Yeah, like a city of free people.
Yeah,
essentially.
Exactly. Yeah. So everyone's basically chipping in.
Yep. And
I think it also said in there as well that the original city was built in like 50 years, which is extremely quickly.
Wow. Okay. Yeah,
so what's another thing that was really cool and helps people who want to hear about farmers is that
really, Gary?
Yeah, I think they find there's a lot of people that want to know about farmers. Is the last two concentric layers not only hold the city but also a freshwater lake called the Glassmere. So they've basically got a constant supply of food within this like freshwater fishery.
Sweet.
Yeah. But
I'm so excited about that.
It was awesome. It's
fish everywhere.
We've got fish farmers now. It's fine. It's all cool.
It can't be that bad.
No, exactly. So we've also got the defences of the city.
Yeah.
So it goes to describe that the walls are not the most powerful defence the city has. It's they've got spiritual ones built in as well. So there's one of the big things is the city is full of cats.
What?
Yeah, the city is full of, and it's kind of goes in to say not just like the Shyishan bred black cats, but also like larger cats from like Gur they bring in.
All right, okay.
And it's because cats are the best things to warn about spirits.
That's so random. It felt like you started off that sentence with kind of a fact that had nothing to do with the point you were trying to
prove. No, brought it round.
By the way, the city just has cats.
Just has cats, loads of cats. No, it's full of cats.
Okay, cool.
So what I think we need now is instead of a Griffhound, we need Monty on the base. Because he does the same, he'll warn you about spirits popping up. He won't do anything about it, like the Griffhound doesn't, but just tells people to shoot at it. It's fine. But and it also has they really take serious like respected superstitions.
Okay.
So you've got stuff like sprigs of what's called ice fawn.
Yeah.
Silvered mistletoe, sharpened Ashian flame wood.
Right, yeah.
I quite like that it's sharpened.
One.
Yeah. Strong smelling herbs.
That just sounds incredibly generic. Like any herb.
Yeah, I mean, there was a long list. Obviously got till the end. I went, and herbs. Why not and herbs?
I love that they're superstitious yet they have black cats around them the whole time. So that might be a nightmare for them,
it does say well-respected superstition. So obviously the black cats thing is not
respected
exactly.
enough.
It's just not a well-respected superstition in Shyish, which I like. All respect to the cats. So, you also have at the very heart of the city holds the Helden Hammer Stormkeep.
Yeah.
So obviously, always plentiful of stormcast in there.
Yeah.
And what was basically really invigorated the city's defences is that they brought through from High Azir the bodies of 12 celestial saints.
Okay.
And what was the coolest thing about it is it said, including the redeemed Gargant Temple Sen.
Right.
So you've got a Gargant that's a saint, basically, which is so cool.
Just a big giant saint.
Yeah, just a Gargant saint.
I love that.
Yep. So basically, each has so much energy, even in death, that they can hold back demons and geists. So
right.
just their bodies and skeletons can basically hold these evil things back. Yeah.
Okay.
So and they were placed in mausoleums around the city to create like a 12-pointed star. And this is, and that was surrounded by purple salt. So, 12 is like a big number for Sigmar, because it was thought to be that they're in the world that was, Sigmar brought together 12 tribes to fight the orcs and all the other nasties in the world that was. So like 12's kind of like the Sigmar's spiritual number.
That's interesting.
So I thought that was quite cool.
Yeah, I didn't realise that.
Yeah, it's genuinely really good. Like obviously I'm going, a bit of a rundown.
Yeah.
But it's I'm really glad we focused on this because actually it is something that I could have missed.
Yeah.
And actually reading it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So a big deal and it connected to the heroes in the box is you've got the three heroes of Glymmsforge. So the person that really wants to take the city is Lady Olinda, which is the model we've seen now for the Night Haunts. The Mortarch of Grief.
Yep.
I said Mortarch. So, and she wants to make it part of her Kingdom of Dread.
Okay.
Described, which is quite cool.
That's quite cool.
Yeah, so she sees it as a proper challenge because obviously it's got all these things that are meant to keep her out.
Sure. Yeah,
so she's like, if I can...
Like a jewel in the crown.
Exactly, exactly. It's like, if I can take this, then, I am sorted.
Gash's best lady.
Yeah, exactly. So first up, she sends Vasselbad. So he's a...
Sounds Russian.
Yeah, so Vasselbad, the Unrelenting.
Cool.
So I like that he's just got bad in his name, so he's really bad.
Yeah.
Which is a vampire. So, but the big deal with him is that magic can't hurt him because he rides under this banner that basically protects him from anything magical or like rune based. The things that you would normally use to kill a soul-blight vampire doesn't affect him.
Oh.
So
is he going to be the model that we haven't seen yet? The guy that's riding almost that winged nightmare looking thing.
Give me about 4 seconds and you realise, no, it will not be.
Yay!
So we have our first character, which is Nossian Glym.
Right.
So he is the royal son of the line of mages that claim kinship over Lyra. So he comes up with this plan, basically, to send the Angelos chamber in from above.
Yeah.
So to do a vertical attack, basically, on his banner bearer.
Okay.
And basically rip the banner and fly off. And then,
literal mine?
Basically, yeah. So lots and lots of the prosecutors die in attempting this, because obviously they learn what's going on.
Yeah.
But the prime of the prosecutors manage to steal the banner, steals the banner away just before Nossian basically spears him with a thrice blessed lance.
Oh, right, okay.
And basically it says the return blow pretty much cuts him in half. Oh. But then as he dies, he gets whipped up to Azir. So Sigmar's like, you. I'm having
cool.
you.
Well done.
I'm having you. And he gets reforged. Basically, it says he's taken because of his valor and audacity,
Amazing.
which is nice.
Yeah.
And he is reforged as Gnossus Heavenson.
All right. Yeah.
So he's the Lord Arcanum.
Right, from the box.
From the box.
Interesting.
Yeah. So another hero that's claimed is Seraphim Heldet, which is basically the lead wizard of the College Arcanum in the city. And she basically has to protect, I think it's either the east or the west side from thousands and thousands of dead walkers.
Right.
And she basically uses the desert itself to basically do sandstorm that strips all the flesh from their bones and basically protects her own free guild with like walls of sand and stuff like that. And it says she's struck down. It's a 9-day assault with dead walkers, and she's finally struck down dueling necromancers.
Oh, that's cool.
But she was basically taken then by Sigmar. Because she was like, right, you'll do.
Yeah.
And she's the Incantor.
Yes.
In the box, and she's Seraphina Helden's daughter.
Helden's daughter.
Yeah.
Right, cool.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry whoever wrote these names. I know I'm murdering them, but, make them easier. But what she gets as well is a 30-foot tall silver statue erected in the memory of her in the market square.
That's all right, that'll make you feel good.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Especially if you walk back by it and go,
exactly.
That's me. But because of this, we have basically the third hero of Glymmsforge.
Okay.
Who is Vorgan Malandrek.
Right.
So he's kind of a veteran free guild general and used to be like an ex-civil engineer within the city. So he kind of knows a lot about the city and how to use its self-defences. So he is up against a Thrall called the Slender Knight. Okay. Which is kind of like, I love Slender Man, but it's a Slender Knight, who basically, he has loads of white guards and knights. Right. So it's basically a cavalry army that he's facing. So because of his knowledge of the battleground, Malandrek forces these knights into stuff like hidden moats. It says hidden moats and mist hidden fields of steel spikes and basically prepared kill zones. Yes. So like where all the handgunners and artillery are all primed. Yeah. Basically aiming at this spot.
Exactly.
Just waiting for everything to ride in. Now it does say that the knights are so good that they manage to get through all of these layers.
Right.
But it's kind of a war of attrition.
Sure.
So by the time they get to the city, where they had loads, there's just not enough to do anything. So it says that Malandrek, he's not a melon, Malandrek leads the final assault, which I thought was really cool, with 3 lancers of warrior priest cavalry.
What?
Which I think is really cool. So it's just like a full lancers of warrior priests.
Is that
if you want to fight undead, that's a pretty good thing to have,
cool, isn't it?
Yeah. That's real. And it's another these are the times that I like.
Has it ever been a thing before?
What, warrior priests?
No, as in warrior priest cavalry.
No, I don't. You had Luther Huss.
Yeah.
Luther Huss, who was a fucking boss, to be fair. But so you haven't. That's really cool. And it's stuff like that I really like how it ties in those devoted of Sigmar bits, because they can be very that's old stuff brought into it, but stuff like, and it says like the flagellants are the ones that bring in like the saints and stuff like that. You have these big processions of the devotees of Sigmar that bring all this stuff in. Yeah, basically.
Just the more and more they flesh out all these cities, including obviously Glymmsforge now, it's just the more at home the Empire or the free peoples now feel. Right?
And I think it's really worked well the way they've split them up.
Yes,
because originally it was kind of a bit odd just looking at it, but now they've fleshed out all the narrative. Yeah, I think a lot of it's really cool. It really makes sense, which is awesome. So this was like a massive victory for the city, because the Slender Knight was basically one of the big bads. Yeah. But it kind of got overshadowed by the other two's victories. Sure. So it basically says that he won no fame from the citizens of the city. Oh, okay. And also Sigmar didn't
2-1 loss overall.
So Sigmar didn't really deem him worthy to join the Stormcast Eternals. So this kind of plants a seed of hate and jealousy in him.
Right, okay.
So basically, because he's always... It goes on for a while, and obviously he's going through the city, and there's all these stories being told of the other two.
Yeah.
And there's this massive silver statue.
Yes, exactly.
As well. So this kind of... And it says that over the time... he loses his close friends and allies because they basically get bored of him.
Moaning
about this. So it's kind of another circle of, that's affecting him more. He's not blaming it on himself. He's blaming it on these two other heroes and Sigmar himself. So he starts hearing these whispers from what he believes to be basically kind of like the child fairy tale Elder Bones.
Right.
Which is kind of like almost kind of like like a boogeyman.
Okay, I get you.
Style thing. Sure. And he's known as like an ancient wizard king whose name was lost centuries ago. But he starts whispering to him, telling him like, "Look, Sigmar's left you. I can help you."
I can feel there's a twist.
I mean, it's less of a twist, more than just a downward arc of obviousness. He basically tells Malandrek that, I can give you this fame you want, and you can conquer Shyish in your name rather than Sigmar's. And he ignores this, but because he keeps talking to him, he basically goes through sleepless nights of like Elder Bones constantly talking to him, saying like, Sigmar's left you, I can do this, I can give you that.
More and more bitter and twisted, all of that,
So he finally agrees to what Elder Bones wants, and he said all he wants is for him to dig out one section of the 12-pointed star. And basically replace it with purple sand.
Right.
Almost like grave sand.
Almost like grave sand, yeah.
Yeah. And he shouts out, this is like the last phrase of the incantation. And it basically says, within a minute, the flesh is stripped away from him and his horse.
Right, okay.
And so basically he finds, Malandrek finds his immortality, but it's not in the way he wants, and that's where the Knight of Shroud comes from in the box. Obviously Elder Bones is Nagash as well.
What?
But I thought that was a really cool way of bringing the Knight of Shrouds into it.
Definitely,
like, it's not just he's a Knight of Shrouds from the Nighthaunts, it's like, he's one of the good guys.
He was. And like, this is the effect that Sigmar isn't just this kind of like, like all hail to him, glory upon Sigmar.
He's not just
like that.
He's not just throwing out Stormcast armor.
Exactly. Like, people can feel like, hatred towards Sigmar and stuff, and turn into these Knight of Shrouds. And stuff.
You see it almost kind of worse that now that like Sigmar is a known. He's a known entity. Like, he does these miracles, like, that you can see, and then still get overlooked by him. It's not just like, exactly,
full of them.
Made of them. Exactly. So I thought that was a really cool way of bringing him in. So basically, 3 weeks later, Malandrek leads an assault on the city in his new Knight of Shrouds form. And he knows where to assault because it's the gap in the star.
Makes sense.
And it basically goes in to describe how Sigmar's not a fool. He knows the way Nagash works. So although he didn't know it would be Malandrek that betrays him, he very much knew that betrayal is an option that Nagash chooses. So he knows it's a potential.
The great betrayer.
Exactly. So he basically sends. That's when he opens the Sacrosanct Chamber. And basically sends them all. And then we've got the two heroes. So we've got Seraphina.
That's it.
And
Helden's daughter.
And Gnossos is the Lord Arcanum. And that's basically where the box goes from.
Right. That's cool.
It's kind of there. So Andy, did you want to go into a little bit about the Sacrosanct Chamber? Now we started talking about it.
No. So, basically, the Sacrosanct Chamber, obviously, Gary's covered this, that, Sigmar always knew that Nagash would betray him again. So he's been kind of gathering up souls who, in their former lives, you know, before the reforging and stuff like that, were all sorts of magic wielders and stuff. People that kind of like either dealt in it, performed it themselves, taught it, absolutely anything like that.
Yeah.
And he's been building these up for years, just expecting this from Nagash, and they've been held back until this very point, basically, for this very reason. And they're quite dark to a degree. You know how kind of like we were describing Sigmar as kind of like, you know, now we're seeing him kind of in two lights.
Yeah.
Sacrosanct Chamber are described almost very, very similar and stuff like that. So, go through kind of like from the very beginning, basically. So they have a lot to do with the reforging process. So
which is something still reasonably like mysterious.
Yeah, so
at the moment,
as much as we know, kind of like a soul kind of like gets shot up to Azir, and they are reforged, and they become a Stormcast Eternal. And we know that this happens multiple times. The more this happens, the more of their the more of their humanity they lose. They might lose a memory, they might lose their name, they might, you know, something about them disappears. So it kind of goes into a little bit more information and stuff like that about actually how the Sacrosanct Chamber and mainly like the Lord Incantors are involved in the process. So it describes that there are 6 smiths which are direct descendants of Grungni. Now, Grungni was the god that kind of helped Sigmar kind of like forge all of the Sigmarite armor pieces and stuff like that. You know, he helped build Azir, basically. So pretty big deal. So these are 6 direct descendants that perform this kind of ritual, and they perform it on the Anvil of Apotheosis, which is a cool damn name.
It's a cool name, definitely.
And the actual process that takes place is said to be a complete torture on the soul. You know what I mean? It's the most painful thing that you could imagine going through, right? So what the Sacrosanct Chamber are there to do is almost guide that soul through. So kind of like, very much kind of like, I pictured it almost kind of like a bit of a siren song. So kind of like they're going through all of this pain, this torture, but they're giving the soul something to focus on to come out the other side.
Oh, that's really cool.
As kind of pure and how they want the Stormcast Eternals to be. It does then go into possibly my favourite bit, and now it basically says that this process is so painful that even this siren song might not bring you out the right side of it. The souls could shatter on this anvil, basically, and they become what is known in Shaiish as a lightning geist. Now that's a pretty damn cool
Sounds
name.
pretty cool,
I really like that. So basically they're described as just like spirits, like, you know, perpetually trapped in pain. Like, you know, they'll go about, they'll wreak havoc, but they don't necessarily know what they're doing. They're not in control of themselves. They're just in pain, lashing out.
It's just their nature.
Yes, exactly. So, if this happens, then the Sacrosanct Chamber are kind of charged with recovering or neutralising these souls. Now, it seems to be that kind of like, you know, the soul can go through the reforging process again. So they can still kind of like, you know,
So you can redeem it.
to a degree, but sometimes, you know, they do have to, and it's put in a very kind of like order fashion, neutralise. You know what I mean? Like, it's not an evil thing to do. We're just going to kill this soul, but it's fine, right? Because it's broken and we did that anyway. So, but it's probably fine anyway. And one other thing as well is they're described, and this is where kind of like the double-sided thing comes into it. So they're described as being equally feared and awed by other Stormcasts. Right?
Fair enough.
And the reason being is because they're such masters of how souls are forged, trapping souls, retrieving broken souls. You know, they are like essentially the soul experts. Chamber, really.
Good pun. Good unknown pun there.
Really?
Yeah, carry on. When you re-listen to it, you'll love it. That's
fantastic. Great. The other Stormcast fear them.
Yeah.
They fear them because they could take their soul in a heartbeat.
Yeah, wow. Nice. That's reasonably good thing to fear.
They are described as, if Sigmar orders it, they will kill another Stormcast in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Because they're that good at their job, and they are that loyal to Sigmar.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So you've got that double-edged kind of sword there, which is really, really cool.
But without them, they wouldn't be reforged. So there's that stage of respect.
Exactly. So there is one really, really cool bit in this, and it goes on to describe a Lord Arcanum.
Yeah.
And doesn't describe him by name, if I remember correctly. But it's a Lord Arcanum of the Grave Brethren. Now, the Grave Brethren are part of the Hammers of Sigmar.
Yeah.
And he is described to be able to, in the realm of Shaman, just transmutate material at will.
Yeah.
So he can turn gold into granite.
Yeah.
He can, so he's the master of metal to some extent. And that sounds a hell of a lot like someone that we might recognise from the old world.
It was, it's the bit where it says, held from another era entirely. It's like, so we're thinking he's Balthazar
Gelt,
which is so cool because he was really cool during the end times.
Yes.
Like, and this actually is original story that I read in the Empire. I'm not sure what they're called, but army book.
Right. Yeah.
Was really cool where they used to have like a wizard duel to see who was which colour of magic was the lead colour for that year.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And basically just turned all the opponents into gold. So it's like
Sweet.
But the cool bit was basically to buy his way off of the ship that got him to, I think it was in Altdorf.
Yeah.
It was he basically gives this guy a big handful of gold, and as Balthazar Gelt walked away, it looked in his hand, it just turns to sand.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's like, it's just so many things that make me think it has to be him, which is so cool.
It would be really, really cool. It's just a nice nod.
That's it.
Don't need any more than that.
No, I'm happy for them just to leave it as that. But that's like you say, those are the kind of references to the old world that I'm happy with.
Yes.
It's not like he's back.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want like, is Balthazar Gelt as a model? It's no, this is cool. This is a nice little narrative, like, thread.
Yeah.
To go like, and they've not even said it's him.
No.
It's just us prepostering, like it's got to be.
And then, like, last but definitely not least in this, it describes the Sacrosanct Chamber to have a secret mission.
Yeah.
So, yes, they are going to be sent to Shaiish and across all the realms to stop, what has happened from the Necroquake.
Yeah.
But they're not just out there to stop Nagash's legions.
No.
And now this isn't known by the rest of the Stormcast Eternals. It's very much their own mission. So they're searching tombs. They're searching, like, it even says that they're searching Shadespire.
Yeah.
Which is
really
quite
cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Which might lead to a gang.
Yeah, who knows?
Might have been at Warhammer Fest.
Yeah.
They are searching for the cure, or at least the a way to reduce or slow down the degradation of the souls on a reforging process.
Yeah, which I assume there's only so many heroes Sigmar can take.
Exactly,
so
that's it.
If the soul gets to a point where it can't be reforged again, because it's just basically insane.
And it does go into saying kind of that, Sigmar's forces, they need to have that humanity. Yeah,
because they're protecting humanity.
Exactly,
so
So it's very cool. Kind of, like I said, like very light mixed with dark.
Yeah, it's nice. It's not just like like we said before, it's nice seeing Order as like Order's not the good guys.
No, exactly. They're doing it potentially for the reasons that they believe is right, but is that any different to chaos and death? And destruction?
It's like it's I see them Order as like the lesser of evils.
Yes,
like it's still not particularly nice, but they like big nice cities and stuff like that. They're not just going on a murderous rampage.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. But yeah, then it goes into describing kind of like a little bit more about all the units and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'll just probably go through maybe like a couple of the characters.
Yeah.
So you know, the big characters basically, like the Lord Arcanums and stuff like that. So they were taken, and you know, we going back right to the beginning of when Age of Sigmar dropped and stuff like that. It was described that Sigmar took different souls for different reasons, whether or not they prayed to Sigmar for strength, for forgiveness, for, you know, the power to smite this one enemy, you know, anything like that.
There's lots of reasons.
Exactly. And they were then divvied up into their chambers based on kind of like what they...
with the wizarding hat.
Exactly, yes. So you had Wizarding Jewels and the Wizarding Hat. It's very much a Harry Potter themed episode.
Yeah, it is, Shit. Right, let's turn this off.
So the reason why the Lord Arcanums were kind of like chosen, so they were chosen to be that rank for the reason why they used Eldritch power in their mortal lives. And they used Eldritch power for freedom of themselves or freedom of others. And so they were chosen. So it's almost kind of like...
an interesting correlations to one of the units I'm going to go through. So that's really cool to hear.
That's awesome. Okay, right. And they say that they're so powerful that they can draw upon the lightning and the power of Azir as easily as like you or I breathe air. You know, so kind of like it's just
second nature
into them. Exactly. And the other members of the Sacrosanct Chamber see their form of magic as almost it's described as offspring of Sigmar's great bolts themselves. Now, like when they refer to the great bolts, these are the ones that, you know, he's literally Zeusing a city. You know what I mean? It's just like one big bolt annihilates a city. It takes down the god beast. You know, it's almost seen as
real power.
It's derived at least somewhat directly from that.
So that like the purest power.
Exactly. And because of that, Griff charges, because they're almost, you know how griffins are designed, like, you know, they're meant to be noble creatures, aren't they, and stuff like that in all the mythos and stuff like that. So Griff charges are very much described in this passage in a very similar way. But they're you know, they don't necessarily want to be bound to somebody, but when they do, like, you know, it's a bond for life. And they choose these Lord Arcanums just because of how powerful they are. They can feel
sense.
You know, they with the, because it goes through a bit like riding the winds of Theric and stuff like that. So they've got the power of lightning embedded in them. So kind of like to find somebody that they bond with that also has.
That's really cool that they've gone, because I know with the Vanguard Chamber they went into a bit on Griff charges about how they're like they're kind of anti-chaos just by nature. Like they just hate what chaos like creates of things. So it's nice to have that extra layer to a Griff charger. It's just really cool. I like that a lot.
And then we'll go to like the Lord Incantors, which they're kind of described as the lieutenants to the, you know, the Lord Arcanums basically. So and one of the things it goes into describing them as, so they're the ones that basically like obviously like sing and guide that siren song to the souls during their reforging process. It's them specifically that is mentioned. But also it does actually also say that they kind of they chant to the storm as well, and they can like almost like manipulate it with song to some extent, and you know, kind of like draw lightning down, you know, floods, like heavy, like freezing rain and stuff like that. So it's kind of it's a bit random to me, but it's kind of cool. It's a different. I didn't expect them to be described like that.
It sounds a bit more.
They were very much just kind of like, you know, I've got my staff. I got some lightning powers. I'm going to Palpatine you a little bit.
It sounds. No, that's a slam. We know that. We know that now. They sound almost a bit more like shamanic than they are like, you know, wizards as such.
To some degree.
Like which is really cool. It's like a different twist on them.
Definitely. But so that's kind of, you know, there's obviously that it goes into detail in the book about the evocators and all the other units and stuff like that. So obviously feel free to check them out. There is obviously one cool thing, you know, it describes that they are all different magisters in previous lives, and they use magic in different ways. Some practice it. Obviously we've seen from the sequitors and stuff in the box, they can power, like they use the same kind of magic, they just can't outwardly.
That was what I was going to say. That's the bit that I was going to bring up, that I really enjoyed reading, that the sequitors are kind of, they've got this kind of inbuilt magic.
Yes.
That's kind of they can just imbue themselves
Yeah.
with. So that's where the defense comes from.
Exactly.
And the attack comes. It's where they're basically putting that inbuilt power into.
Yes.
Which was really cool.
Yeah, so that is cool. So kind of like, similar kind of magics, maybe different levels and stuff like that. And only some of them can like exude the magic. Some of them it's just contained within them. So
and bolt throwers are cool.
Bolt throw, they are really cool actually. Yeah,
bolt throwers are just cool in general. So why not have them in that chamber?
But so it goes into similar detail on the Nighthaunt as well, I believe.
Yeah. So excuse the pun straight away, but I like the old school, like when, again, going back to when AOS dropped and there was no real Nighthaunt stuff out. Yep. There's a few units. It kind of didn't feel... It just felt like, they're ghosts.
Yeah, there's some ghosts, yeah.
Where they've kind of fleshed them out a bit now. Yeah, exactly. And where it's kind of like the way they're formed now is kind of a, like, perverted version of Nagash is justice.
Okay.
So it's what Nagash feels is like what should be the law brought upon. And that's why he creates them in different ways.
Right. Okay.
So like it's described that Nighthaunts are obviously the souls of the living.
Yep.
Which we know. But unlike zombies and skeletons, they have like it's described as like a malevolent animus of their own. Okay. So like they have kind of their own personality. Yes. Rather than like a skeleton and a zombie is just a walking husk.
Yes.
They actually are more themselves.
They keep their personality. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So and it's described as everyone as like an unquenchable thirst to basically bring down the living.
Oh, right.
Like, it's like a real... It's almost like a dark jealousy.
Yeah.
That they're living and they're not.
Okay.
So they need to make them into Nighthaunts as well, so they can share this dread together.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Nice guys.
And not real nice guys. So one of the things that's come out with the new Nighthaunt, which is amazing, is that Nagash makes them in kind of into like a form of how they lived and how they died.
Yep.
So it means they're forever trapped in this kind of moment.
Yep.
And it says that some Nighthaunts can plunge their hands through armour and freeze people's hearts.
Oh, that's cool.
And it says other ones, like it describes like the oldest and most evil wraiths can cut huge creatures in half with just a single swing of their scythe, and or just like a look can kill from them, kind of thing. So first up, we've got the Knight of Shrouds.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say straight away, if you've not listen to the Malign Portents episode, because we have a massive chunk on the Knight of Shrouds there.
We do.
But the general gist of them is that these are like people, they're basically traitors that have turned on their own for their own reason, like for their own gotten gains.
To the story that we went through before.
Exactly. Exactly the same as him. It's like for his own gain, he turns on the greater good kind of thing. So that creates this Knight of Shroud that's also, again, is caught in this self, like, replicating jealousy and dread. Like, long ago, they forgot the actual reason that they turned is because they did something bad. It's everyone else's fault. Everyone else caused them like this. Sigmar caused them. It's like, Nagash has saved me, kind of. He's basically like walking, or now riding, propaganda.
Yes.
So, which is really cool. So we also have the Guardian of Souls, which is the Nighthaunt hero with the lantern.
Yes. Yep.
So these are are kind of like nexuses of undead energy.
Right.
So they, as mortals, they dabbled in dark arts that helped themselves.
Okay.
So when Nagash created them, they created them into these dark wizards.
Right.
But they were all to do with the dark arts to making themselves live longer and stuff like that. So
like
kind
a
of
master of the dark arts, some might say.
Yeah, some would say that. Yeah. But so their lanterns invigorate the dead.
Yep.
And they also is known. It's the fire of the guardians, which is in the lanterns. It permanently like flickers. And Nighthaunts can basically, so it permanently flickers towards the realm of death, and it is visible to spirits for
it's like a beacon.
It's basically a beacon, yeah, but it's visible to spirits across hundreds of leagues, and ignoring like any terrain or anything like that. Nighthaunts can see this this lantern, so are drawn to it.
That's cool.
Because in the original descriptions of night haunts, it says that they're
Moths.
not moths, basically. Well, I mean, not far, yeah. I mean, it's basically described as you get like this kind of like a haunting of them, and then where
is that what a group of spirits?
I mean, that's what I'm just describing.
Oh,
that is now.
Really like that.
It's got Liam Neeson in it.
Haunting of spirits.
It's basically, so you get this like small haunting, and then that basically collects more and more because more are drawn to them.
Okay.
So that's where you suddenly get this night haunt army, because groups draw more and more into them. This malice and self-loathing draws the same to it. And so I thought that was really... So he's like the wizard in the box. So you also have the Lord Executioners.
Yeah.
So it's kind of... These are described as like the hangmen and executioners while they were alive. But basically ones that enjoyed what they did, started to enjoy it.
Yes, yeah.
And then also it goes into the fact that they started looking less and less into kind of the cases of these prisoners.
Just chuck them straight on the block.
So basically, don't really care if they've done it or not. I want to execute them. And it's described that every Lord Executioner has innocent blood on their hands.
Whoa.
And they are of like a new service in Nagash to hunt and execute heroes and kings that have basically defied Nagash. So have originally sworn allegiance and then gone on to Sigmar's side. For basically, the Lord Executioners go after them.
Right, okay.
And it said they're constantly drawn more mad and more insane because they're basically followed by everyone they killed when they were alive. So that's why they've got like the noose above them and all those spirits around them. They're not actually on his side. They're constantly taunting him and like turning him more and more insane. So that's why they're pretty.
What a shit existence.
Yeah, I mean, Nagash not the nicest employer.
No,
it's
definitely not. I wonder if he gets dental.
Yeah. Well, he's got teeth, so it's fine. Yeah. So then you've got the spirit torments.
Yep.
So these are the guys that you see with like the cool, big, heavy like chains and locks.
Yeah.
So they are lords of what's called the Great Oubliette.
Oubliette. That's a great word, isn't it?
And I learnt from Russ on FaceHammer, it's French for forgotten.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you, Russ.
You linguist, you.
Yeah. So the Great Oubliette in Shyish is a continent-size underworld prison.
Cool.
And they basically capture souls of transgressors that have escaped what Nagash thinks is their due fate.
Oh, right, okay.
And they draw the souls into these lock and chains.
Okay.
And they can only be let go when the spirit torment unlocks these.
So is it like so basically it's like a magnet. So say kind of like, I think that I promised something to Nagash in my mortal life.
Yeah.
And then I think that I'm going to the underworld that I actually believe in.
Yeah.
Because, I made that promise, not really believing that was him. But like a magnet, I'm drawn to this prism to a degree.
I would say from reading it, it more sounds like people that say like murderers that have then got away with it, and when they've died, their souls have gone to where they've wanted them to go.
Yeah.
And Nagash is like, that's not right. You did all this nasty stuff.
Yeah.
You're due a worse fate than that.
Right. Okay.
So the spirit torments go after that, and basically it says when they unlock these massive locks, the spirit either goes straight to the Oubliette, or it said it can also go to one of the Mortarchs or Nagash himself.
Oh,
so he can kind of send them where they want.
Yeah.
So it says they've been seen in far greater numbers since the Shyish Nadir.
Right, yeah.
And also that they appear far more often in the presence of Stormcast.
Right,
which obviously Nagash sees as the great transgressors.
Yes,
like, they're the ultimate, you are not where you're meant to be.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
And he's got rules, isn't he, that does slightly better things against Stormcast.
Which is really cool combination of like the rules and the narrative. So you also have the Grimhast Reapers, which are kind of like the Khan Wraith style looking models.
Yeah.
So it's described as they're like once meticulous killers who kind of hired assassins, and it says almost like a king's vizier is like hires people to make sure he stays where he is, so kills like his opponents and stuff like that. So it says it did their killing with preparation and misdirection.
Right.
So they also took great pain to never get blood on their own hands.
Right.
So it was always someone else that did their killing for them.
Cool.
And basically now Nagash has transformed them, so they're now blindfolded and driven to murderous state by Nagash. So they're killing everyone now.
Yeah, so they're just swinging.
Yeah, so they're just and then what was really like unnecessarily added is that he often sets them loose on their own kin first.
Oh.
So he's like, "There's your family, right? Go kill them."
Wow.
It's like really unneeded part, but it's like, it says it does that before committing like wider rampage.
Okay.
And it says some of them even
probably makes him more angry. Yeah, he lets him see that, and then it's just like, well, I'll kill anything now.
And it kind of says how some of them even can like have, after all this has happened, they work out what they've just done, so it drives them even more into this bloodlust kind of thing. And there's a really cool bit where some of them are known as the extollers of Shyish, which were once spiritual leaders that spoke out against Nagash, and now they must forever praise him.
Oh, right, okay.
Which is really, I thought, it's like, that is like Nagash in his purest state. It's like, hey guys, when they're dead.
That's what you said about me.
Yeah, remember you said I wasn't so cool? Right, now I'm cool.
This is where you see like the similarities between Nagash and Manfred, don't you?
Yes.
See why they don't get along.
Yeah,
exactly that reason.
But I just like that so much, where it's just like, yeah, you guys were like preached to a lot of people that I wasn't your best bud. Yeah. It's like times are changing, and just the fact they were named like that,
it really gives them one of those signs, and they're just spinning it outside of a city, like come see Nagash.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be so funny. It flips it and then can't hold it.
It keeps dropping.
Yeah,
it's just terrible at their job.
Terrible. Yeah. But I just thought that was such a cool added bit about them.
Yeah.
So we also have the Glaive Wraith Stalkers. And these are super cool.
Yeah.
Where they're basically the souls of hunters. So that really enjoy going out hunting and hunting down basically innocent prey.
Yes.
And boast about it and everything like that. And the souls of the people that they've hunted down petition to Nagash, basically saying like, look, this guy was a dick. And it even says, because of Nagash's like sense of comic justice, when these hunters finally meet their end, he kind of creates them into his own hunting dogs.
Yeah.
So he mixes them with all these creatures that are all about the hunt, so they're constantly in this.
Yeah.
Like,
because initially they kind of look like Skaven, don't they?
I think, a few, but it's actually like I said to you, like, no, those are like the horses of their heads of like their mounts kind of thing. Or, maybe just other, predators.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of described that then they are like, kind of like the devil dogs of Satan. They're kind of, Nagash sets them a task to hunt these people down. And it's kind of said that these people that have done something that Nagash wants them dead for, they can never like rest because they know these things are out there somewhere for them and there's no way of stopping them. So I thought they're really cool.
That is cool.
And then lastly, you've got the chain rasp hordes.
Yep.
So it's described that these are the souls taken from the meanest, most irredeemable criminals across the realm.
Yep.
So it's why that you've got so many of them. It's
there's plenty of them now.
There's lots of nasty people.
There's society again.
Yeah, exactly.
Therefore, there's nasty people. About.
Yeah, exactly. What's really cool as well is it describes that like the Dread Wardens, so the unit champions. It kind of says where civilization takes root, you'll have the bad people, which becomes the Chain Rasp Horde, but also you have like the righteous, which and it says when the righteous basically punish or kill people
in the name of something good,
in the name of something bad. Then they become the Dread Wardens, which are like the leaders of these units, which I think is like kind of that nice comic irony from Nagash, which is really, and the more I like build them, paint the Chain Rasp, the more I just love the models. They're so simple,
very characterful.
They're really characterful. I think it's one of the things that put me off doing like a Nighthaunt army originally, is that you just have loads of spirit hosts, which I still think are super
great
cool models, but I don't think I could do an army of them. And where this, it's like that, you can do something different, which I think spirit hosts are still very good. But you can do these Chain Rasp hordes, and the way I plan to paint them will be very quick as well.
Yes, exactly. So
that's basically it covered,
it's a
isn't
whistle
it?
stop tour of Glymmsforge.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just got me like really excited about like and what's the other thing's got me excited for is for when Soul Wars the novel is released.
Yes, yeah. So the Josh Reynolds book that comes out to actually give you more information around Glymmsforge. So it'll definitely be interesting to see whether or not that picks up directly after this, kind of like almost like a primer.
Yeah, I can imagine it's kind of set with almost like the stuff in this book is set almost within it.
Yep.
Kind of thing, but more in depth. And yeah, like you say, maybe it just picks up straight away after. Something like that.
I mean, we could figure it out by reading the first chapter, I guess.
Yes, true. I have actually read the first chapter and it's really good.
Oh, okay.
So, but the first chapter is set at another time.
Ah, interesting.
So it's like not direct to the thing. Right. Yeah, I like it because now I've got my Warhammer sci-fi favourite writer, which is Dan Abnett.
Yep.
And now I've got my favourite AOS writer, which is Josh Reynolds.
Yep.
So it's I'm really, really excited for that to come out. I'm pretty sure I saw in White Dwarf it's coming out as an audio book as well.
I think I saw that too, but again, don't quote me on that.
No. I mean, it's quite simply, if it's not released on the same day, I'm just going to buy the novel.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen like the super sexy edition as well?
I haven't actually, no.
It looks so good.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's just got Sigmar in his pants. just as like a centerfold. He's just chilling out in his pants. Yeah.
It's just like, kind of like striking a pose on the anvil.
Yeah. He's got the anvil of Apotheosis over his like groin, so you can't see. So it's nice and it's tasteful. It's the thing. Tasteful. It's the thing with Sigmar and his filth. It's tasteful.
Exactly.
So
just disguised filth.
Yeah, in some of the Stormcast lockers. Like, one of them's got a picture of the gash. No, what's that? Nothing. It's taken an unwarranted turn.
It's taken a weird turn. Yes.
But there we go. Is there anything else?
No, I think that's it. I think we'll...
Yeah, I mean, I would just massively... Obviously, we kind of did, like Andy said, like a whistle-stop tour of the narrative, but it's really fun.
It is
I'd definitely read it. That it's kind of a nice size that you could probably digest it in a couple of days. I'm not saying you're going to do that as soon as you open the box. I know you... Because I didn't. I know you're going to... And I really like the narrative. I know you're going to build all those sweet models and open the book. And I think for... like I said, the next episode we really want to cover the malign sorcery narrative.
We do, yeah.
Because there's lots of cool stuff in there. But also, there's I'd hope that we'd also cover some of the stuff from the core books.
We definitely will. I mean,
in intermittent bits, like when we've got a show when something's not out.
Yeah, for sure. I think it'll be good to kind of like go in there and see, because we've covered previous books.
Yeah.
Based on from the original box set and all the way through Realm Gate Wars. So it'll be interesting to see, what they've done to kind of expand what we already know.
Yeah.
Because that seems to be the real big focus on what AOS 2 is. Especially with the narrative anyway.
Yeah.
Specifically, it is, right, we've got these good roots here and there. Let's expand them. Let's give you more things to kind of like hang your hat on.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Yeah. So there's also the great video on Warhammer TV of Phil Kelly talking a bit more about the narrative.
I cannot recommend that enough.
Yeah,
that's 12 minutes that just gives you such a good grounding about the Mortal Realms.
It's one of the things, and it was a blessing and a curse to do that interview with Phil Kelly because honestly, I could have just gone like, now we've got 8 hours, just talk to me.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
Talk to me. But yeah, it's like 12 like that 11 minutes is so cool, but straight away it's just like, no, Phil, just talk more. I want to hear more.
Where have you gone, Phil? Where have you gone?
But so definitely check that out as well. So
right, so one actual last thing before we do go.
Yeah.
We've got a nice cool set of brand new shiny AgeofSigBrah dice ready for release.
Yes, so, ready to be ready to start rolling your Soul Wars with.
Yes,
We've got
exactly.
Sexy new dice.
Got sexy new dice with our sexy new logo. So
not Sigmar with the anvil of Apotheosis.
Not that one. Not that one.
That's
However, that might be an idea.
That might be the next one. Yeah. Not Sigmar, obviously. Generic man with beard.
Generic man with beard and anvil.
And generic anvil over cock.
Great. So we do have some really cool dice. So if you're listening to this episode, basically basically all of the details for how you get hold of those dice will be on our Twitter feed.
Yeah.
So we'll make it a pinned post on the same day that this podcast goes live. So make sure you go there, check them out. We have had some go on pre-order. So make sure you get in there quickly to get the specific dice that you want. But yeah, all the details will be on our Twitter feed.
I'd also, I think Andy's still happy to do this, suggest that you maybe put, like, if you're happy with any of them,
yes,
maybe put in order of what you would be happy. So number one, the one you want most.
Yep.
And then second and third, because we do have, like the pre-sales took us by surprise.
They did, yeah.
So we've got, some of them we've got less than others. So if you just want one, just put the one. Exactly, but if you go, actually, I'm happy with either of these two, or actually any of the three would be great. But here's the order.
Exactly.
Just put like 1, 2, 3, 1 being the one you want the most.
I'll try to summarize all that in the Twitter post as well, so that kind of like all the information should be there for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that is it.
That is it. So if you want to get in contact with us, you can at AgeofSigBrah@gmail.com.
Yep.
You can also get us on Twitter and Instagram, which is at AgeofSigBrah. So the kind of coming up, I'll be doing a lot more of the malign sorcery recipes.
Yep.
So definitely, follow us for that. So you get a little look of how quick the ones I do are, and definitely how quick you can get them on the board.
Yeah, I'll also be trying to get some of my quick ghostly Seraphon up on there at some point very soon. And then you can also find us on maybe a much quieter front on Facebook. Yeah. So you can find us at facebook.com/AgeofSigBrah. Please do, ask us questions, get in touch with us on there and stuff like that. The best place is Twitter, but we are active on all of those social media platforms. Yeah, we'll do our best to get back to you on any of them, but if you want a speedy reply, then definitely go for Twitter. Yes.
Well, thank you for listening, and that is everything. Bye!